Everybody, welcome. This is the CEO 1440 show. We talk about all kinds of different things and to do webinars where we bring people in that can help loan officers, real estate agents, anybody out there, hopefully do more business. And what I like to say with something like this, my guarantee based on our guest today is if you sit through this, you're not going to do any less business. So you're not going to make less money. So that is my guarantee. And odds are, if you can execute on just a few of the things, I think you will probably make significantly more. So I'll give you in a nutshell who I am. And because I see people here that I don't recognize. Nice work, Sam. You're pulling some folks. We had maybe 50, 60 people register. So as they're just popping in, I will let them in. But my name's John Jerkovich. I've been in the lending space now going back almost 30 years. I got into it when Bill and Monica were in the White House and pre-Y2K, the world was going to end. And been doing this a really long time, got a 4-digit NMLS. And at this point, I've probably helped, 1,000 loan officers earn hundreds of millions of dollars in commission. My sole goal of everything we do in our community is just to help you out. It's completely free. I'm just sharing. Someday I may ask you to buy something, but not for a while. And with that in mind, we've got a guest here today. It's Sam. He just told me how to say his name too. And it's kind of like Abba Gold, but not. So we've got Sam here, and Sam brings it all the time on LinkedIn. And welcome, Sam.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. Hey, everybody. Now, John, since you said you don't recognize some of the names, I don't know if it's okay. Can you guys put in the chat how you found out about today? I'm just personally really curious. All right, but John, go ahead. I'll let you start us.
This is good. And if you don't know, Sam, so this is probably going to go a little haywire because Sam runs a community in school, is constantly doing webinars, different things, bringing people in. I've seen him on something with Hova Digital, like he's all over the place. We danced in the same communities across the board. I didn't meet him until, 6-8 months ago. And I'm like, this guy posts some really good stuff and it's spot on. It's not a bunch of I'm a professional coach stuff. It was like, hey, it was just good. And I like people that aren't full of crap. So we gravitated towards each other. And every time I have him, he's one of about 3 people that receive notification on all of his posts on LinkedIn. So there's a little star you can hit and you can actually see their stuff. So I get every one of his posts. A very small select few people that I do.
Oh, I'm here for you when you're ready. So.
We're John, here for you too, Sandra. So Sam, let's just back up. I want to take this back a ways and then move forward. And everybody that's on the meeting here, if you have a question, what I found is the questions you have are probably more important than what I'm gibbering about or what Sam has. So if something comes up that's pressing, feel free to raise your hand, put it in the chat. We'll try and address it in real time. We're here for you to help you do more. Sam, can you just give me a quick background? I know I went in on your LinkedIn. I put a bunch of stuff into Notebook LM and I said, tell me all about this guy. And you're a social worker that ended up in mortgages, or you were a social worker. And now you've got this playbook to help loan officers get to making $1 million a year, 10 closings. Can you just walk me through the genesis? How does that happen? I know nobody grows up wanting to become a mortgage person. So walk us through that.
Sure. I will just tell everyone, my promise to you guys is today to tell you how to get to 10 loans a month, the big picture, and why I believe that's the best place to be for loan officers. 10 loans a month, working 25 to 35 hours a week with one assistant. You'll make anywhere between $500,000 to $1 million, depending on your margins and your market. So my promise to you is we're going to cover that today. To answer your question, John, my background, I wanted to be a politician out of college. And I'm the best way to do it is to get in touch with my constituents. What's the way to do it? To be a social worker. And I did that for 2 years and I was so disenchanted with the government and wanting to be a politician. And in that time, I bought a couple of rentals. And I'm at that point, I was I am going to be a big real estate guy. So no one would give me a job. So I thought I was hot shit owning 2 units, house hacking. No one else thought that. So I figured the best way to do it is to go get an MBA. So I found the fanciest MBA program I could find. It was top 5 at the time in the world. I think it's the 6th program in the world right now. And I went and did that. and I talked to investment banks, consulting firms, and I remember like coming out of one consulting interview and thinking, if I don't do that again, I'll be happy. So at this point, I just have to look for jobs. And my friend's mom, best friend's mom, was a top mortgage lender in Texas. So I call her. I'm like, Gail, you're happy. You make a ton of money. What do you do? She says, I'm a loan officer, and then spends the next 30 minutes telling me why I shouldn't be a loan officer. Like, you don't have a set schedule. You have to take people out and wine and dine them. There's really no computer. Like, you don't just sit in front of a computer. You have to go be out and about. I'm like, Gail, where's the dotted line? I'm in. So I started with in origination through Gail after that, and I had a unique advantage. One, I was very systematic because of my MBA training. And two, when I got hired, I was put with three top producers, like people that were all doing $60 million. And I was in the office with them, and I could see everything that they were doing to grow their business, what worked, what didn't work. There was some strong overlaps, but some things they were super different. So I learned really quickly on what works, what doesn't, subconsciously. Consciously, I still had to play around with it. But that's how I started in origination. My first year full as a loan officer, I made 100 grand, not full year. I only was doing it for 6 months at that point. I made 100 grand take home. The second year was the fastest growing loan officer in my company in Illinois. Then the third year as well, then I switched companies to U Mortgage, if anyone knows it. At the time, I learned how to do all of this. U Mortgage, I proposed if I could run their coaching program. We did it. At the end, we had 120 loan officers in the program at any given time. We tripled the company from $1 billion to $3 billion without recruiting. On average, the loan officers doubled their business every 3 months. And that's where really I fine-tuned my playlist. And now I've gotten down to really two main systems in the right setting will get loan officers to 10 loans a month. That's the long answer. I hope that's helpful.
And you started were you with cross country at one point? Then you left cross country and now you're back at cross country. Is that kind of the genesis there? Just like, are you a broker? What are you doing? So you're all over the place, and not all over, but like in a good way.
Yeah. So I started on retail, a mix between Summit Funding and cross country.
Okay.
Both, by the way, amazing companies. Went broker with U Mortgage, which was then Minicore, and then came back to retail with my branch. I don't know if anyone knows me, but my branch does $250 million a year as well. So we came back to retail because of our size. Both like retail and broker are amazing channels. I recommend both for different problems. They're tools for different jobs.
Yeah, I like to say that there is not a right home in the mortgage space. There's people that the very best spot for them is sitting at Rocket Mortgage with 1,000 leads put in front of them. And there's some kid sitting there that's 25 years old that's going to make 60 grand this month. And he's crushing it. That's the best place for him. There's some old stodgy guy like myself that couldn't handle a day inside of there. There's a best place for me. You said one other thing that I think is really important to key in on to anybody that's here. I learned most of what I know through osmosis. I sat through training, but my ears were just open to the good producers around me. And then you have this culmination. And something that I think a lot of people are missing today is, unless you're plugging into communities like this, or Sam's got a community on school, unless you're plugging into things, you miss out on that osmosis piece, sitting in your cubicle at home, working remote. And it's probably the way that we all learn more than anything else. So just keep that in mind as far as where you allocate your time. Maybe don't binge Netflix, and maybe spend 30 minutes at night plugging into someplace else where you're going to get some learning. So off that soapbox, on to the next thing. What do you see? So you've coached, I don't know, hundreds of probably bankers at this point. I think you've got a very systematic approach to do A, B, and C. What's one of the biggest things that you kind of see, like, what's one of the biggest pain points that loan officers are experiencing today? Kind of just the biggest problem in the market today?
Is it okay if I rephrase it to what are the two things that move the needle the most?
That works better than what I said.
Okay, perfect. Because there's a lot of different pain points and there's a lot of different problems. But if we just know what are the two things that move the needle the most, we'll get most results. And it's one, like the most foundational piece is how to convert leads. I what has shocked me after talking to hundreds of loan officers, people that do 100 million and people that do 5 million a year, is lead conversion in our industry is garbage. It's terrible. If I were to ask you guys what is your lead conversion, probably half of you don't know. I won't test you guys, but if you don't know your conversion, it's one of the best things to invest in. And I can share my screen later. You can, without doing any extra work, you can triple your income if you implement the 4-step lead conversion process and track your leads and convert them. If you're systematic, that means you don't have to call another realtor, you don't have to call a financial advisor, you don't have to ask for referrals, nothing. You keep everything the same, except you just focus on lead conversion and you'll triple your income. And that number is not coming out of anywhere. All my students, I asked them, like, what's your conversion? They didn't know. So we started tracking them. The conversion was around 12%. That's the general average. In a referral based, it's around 12%. Then I changed the process for some of them that were willing to do it. It increased to 30%. Now, some people are a bit lower, like 30% is the ceiling. I have seen a few people get to 35, but 20 to 25% is without exception. You can get there, and 30% in certain markets, depending on your lead quality, you can get there. So imagine going from 12% to 30%, just changing your lead conversion process, which, by the way, made loan officers work less because they didn't have to think what they have to do. The process was defined. They just followed it, and so did the borrowers. So lead conversion is the number one thing, like just to focus on that, especially if you're referral based. The second one is a systematic way to get new referral partners. Ideally, one a week. And I say one a week, and people, they blow a fuse. They're like, there's no way to get one new referral partner a week. It absolutely is, and I'll show it to you guys again. But it's just having about 2 meetings a week in a high authority setting where people come out thinking, without you asking for anything, they just come out of that conversation, that meeting, saying, my life is better if I know this loan officer and I work with this loan officer. So if I know Louis, my life is going to be better. If we can instill that belief by having a high authority meeting twice a week, we are going to get one new referral partner every week. So those are the 2 things that move the needle the most in terms of changing processes. And then I will say another 2 things that are like at settings that matter, that improve life quality. Number 1 is running the right margin. You want to be running 200 to 300 margin where you're not giving it to someone else, it's yours. So if you're a broker or a branch manager, sweet. If you're a loan officer in someone else's branch, find a way to get to 200 to 300. And then the second one is when you're doing like about 5 loans a month, hiring a rock star assistant. So the setting is an assistant, right margin, and the 2 systems you implement is lead conversion and getting one new referral partner every week. Those are the only things. If you just focus on those, like, you're good. You will make close to $1 million every year, working 25 to 35 hours a week.
And it's so simple. The lead conversion piece, I think, is really interesting. And I've looked at lead conversion from spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a month buying leads all the way through. And lead conversion, often we chase a lot of leads. And can you just kind of walk me through that? Because I have a process that I believe is super important. And it actually starts with the first time they hear your breath. So it's not even your first word. It's when the first time they hear your breath, all the way through beyond the closing. Can you just kind of walk us through what are some easy things that you can do, or maybe some just things that you need to do? I know you talk about like revenue generating activities. Lead conversion is one of them. If you're taking somebody from 12 to 30, that's almost 3x. And we don't need more leads. We need to convert the ones we have better. And people do like to spend a lot of time chasing leads. So inside of lead conversion, if that's the number one thing, what would you give us like tell me more, like, how do you tweak that? What do we do there?
Can I share my screen actually?
Yeah, you can share. I know you've got playbooks. You've got a bunch of other things. If you just want to drive, I can get out of the way.
No, I actually love you asking questions. I've never done it this way, and I much more prefer this. I'll just share my screen because this is visually, it works better. Oh, that's my email. Don't look at my emails, guys. Oh, where'd it go? All right, sorry. Technical difficulties. I had my Chrome open and it just closed on me.
Yeah, pro tip, if you're ever hosting a webinar, close everything except your Zoom screen and the screens you want up. Otherwise, right, who knows what's going to happen there.
Yeah, it's all right. Do you guys see my screen now?
You're showing us a Google Sheet.
Yeah, perfect.
Yep.
So I'll go over the impact of lead conversion that I basically said it a little bit. So most people are around 10 to 12%. Assume $4,000 a loan per income, $4,000 per loan for commission. If you're at 10 leads a month, which pretty much everyone can get to 10 leads a month inside 3 months, like literally, it's so easy. You can make 144 grand. And everyone who does 3 loans a month and is systematic, like this is a ton of money for very little effort once you have your systems down. At 30 leads a month, it gets juicy. So that's why it's focusing on lead conversion is the most foundational part of it. But lead conversion has 4 steps. Number 1 is initial contact. And this is the most important one, I would say. It says 30 minutes to 90 minutes to response. I call it speed to acknowledgement as well. So many loan officers like get leads and they want to be on a phone call right away. Or on the other end of it is they take forever to respond. The key is 30 to 90 minutes of within when you get a lead to acknowledge it. That can be with the realtor, that can be with the lead itself, and it can be as simple as a text saying, hey, I'm in a meeting, I'm excited to talk to you, I'll call you right after. It can be an email, text, doesn't matter, just the way you got the lead. That acknowledgement removes ambiguity. And by the way, if anyone's taking notes, write this one down. What kills deals is ambiguity.
Let me
So
ask
step
you a
one,
question on there.
go ahead.
30 to 90 minutes. Are you saying don't have my CRM instantaneously fire something off? Are you actually saying put a pause in there to not show people that you're like got commission breath and are sprinting after them, but not
Oh,
like,
no,
are
within
you
30
saying
to
there's a
90 minutes.
Goldilocks?
No, within 30 to 90 minutes. If you do it within a minute, that's totally fine too. Actually better. The faster, the better.
Okay. I just wanted to check because there are some people that, right, I don't want them to think I'm like, I got nothing else going on. Go high level lets you show your calendar and will let you like fake how busy you are and like hide out slots. Because some people think that's important. So that's a great point.
Within 30 to 90 minutes. Great question. Then on the phone call. So here's where a lot of loan officers go wrong again. And I learned this, I really learned it when we hired a photographer for our wedding. We interviewed 4 photographers. Everyone was like around $3,000. And by the way, our wedding was 2 hours and it was 10 people. And everyone was around 3,000 and we got a quote for 12 grand from one person. Do you guys know who we went with?
Well, grand guy.
12 grand guy. Because everyone that we talked to, the $3,000 ones, they asked us, what do you want? How many people are going to be there? Sorry, guys. It was really like, just like we were having to tell them what to do. The $12,000 one was like, oh my God, it's so exciting. You guys are getting married. How did you guys meet? When did you decide that you want to have your wedding? How did you decide to do it? And we were so excited, like our energy level went up because we cared about ourselves and our wedding. We didn't want to plan. And then at the end, literally was like, all right, the payment's 12 grand. There's 2 payments. You can reserve your spot by making the first payment right now. I'm going to send a link. Do you have any questions? It was great. And we paid right on the spot. There was no logistics. There was none of that. I'll send you an email about the logistics. Don't worry about it. It was all about us. It was amazing. So we want to recreate that environment in the first call. The client doesn't want a mortgage. Nobody wants $500,000 of debt. They want the home. So we want to create that level of excitement. So the way we do it is by triangle of trust first, which is how do you know the referral partner? Here's the story of how I know the referral partner. I'm so excited to work with you. That's the triangle of trust. Then you go into their goals and dreams, which is why do they want to buy a house? When did you start thinking about buying a house? What do you hope it will look like in 5 to 10 years? Get them excited about the house because that's what they're there for anyway. Then find their MIT, which is the most important thing. For everyone, it's different. And then book a meeting from a meeting, which is you schedule the home buyer consultation. So some people like to take apps over the phone. If you want to do it, go for it. I personally don't like it, so I don't do it. I know it works a little better, but it's not worth it for me. The juice isn't worth the squeeze of taking phone apps for me. Home buyer consultation, for people wondering, is like a 30-minute video meeting where you go over their specific scenario. Any questions so far?
All right. I'm tracking. I like them all. And one thing that I would say from a lead conversion standpoint, just doing this for 30 years, that whole BAM fam, the book a meeting from a meeting, once you've made contact with the client once, Sam said people hate ambiguity. They want to know what the next step is. If you ever end a phone call, ever, I guarantee you're making less money than you could if you ever end a phone call with, I'll follow up Thursday. That's vague. The average loan officer say, I can follow up Thursday. And we don't want to be average. The average person in the US is borderline diabetic. They're fat. They're out of shape. Most marriages fail. You don't want to be average. You don't want to do what everyone else does. So 100% of the time, that book a meeting from a meeting will put your conversion through the roof just by changing that one thing.
Exactly. It really does. Fast response and BAM fam will do more for your conversion really than anything else here. But once you implement all of these, your conversion will be close to 30%. Am I going into too much detail? I don't want to bore people. Is this useful? Put it in the comments if this is useful and you like the level of detail.
And the only thing I see in the comment is, what is MIT?
MIT, most important thing. So find the most important thing to them. For some people, it's getting into the right school zone. For some people, it's the monthly payment. Some people cash to close. Some people, it's I want to be able to actually close. I don't know. For some people, it's I want to, like, it's so different for everyone because everyone has different motivations. Find the most important thing. And when you know the most important thing to them, all your conversation are framed around that. I learned this from a CEO. He asked me, like, Sam, do you know what's the easiest thing to sell? I said, something people need. He said, no, it's the thing they want and they're ready to pay for it. So just find out what it is that they want and frame it around that. Then you sell people exactly what they want.
And it's not always the rate.
The rate is important. It's not as important as people think. I've always sold like super high margins and my conversion is close to 30%. And when I say loan officers in my branch, I don't produce anymore. When you get to 250 million, it's a full-time job to run a branch. Okay. So when we do BAM FAM, we want to schedule a home buyer consultation within 72 hours. So 48 to 72 hours is generally where it lands. You want to get people excited about the pre-approval, which, by the way, pre-approval is the most excited the client's ever going to be, especially if you deal with first-time home buyers. Guys, can you mute yourselves?
Yeah, I got them.
Pre-approval is the most exciting, especially for first-time home buyers, because it's as good as buying a home without going through the shit show of buying a home. They haven't put a million offers. They haven't gone to showings and seen the bad ones. In their head, they bought their dream home. They just haven't gone through the pain yet. So if you're going to ask for referrals, ask at pre-approval, get people excited. People need to know what they're buying and what they're getting themselves into. So go over the range of their monthly payment, cash to close, purchase price. This is where we actually do our loan officer work. And then we put numbers into context for what it means. What I mean by that is almost everyone's rent is going to increase. Like their monthly payments, almost everyone's going to increase. At minimum, their cash to close is going to be really high. So they're going to be scared. So we need to reframe it into something that makes sense to them. So here's the way I do it. John, can I role play with you real quick?
Percent.
Perfect. John, do you know what the average appreciation is in our market?
I don't know, 5%.
So in the past 7 to 8 years, it's been about 10%. Historically, it's closer to 5. But let's be super conservative and say 3%. You're about to buy this home that's $500,000. You make 150 grand. At 3% appreciation, you're making $15,000 on average every year from appreciation. On top of that, you're going to pay about $6,000 this year in principal pay down. So you're paying yourself. That's $21,000 of equity gain for you every year. Your salary is $150K. When was the last time you got a $20,000 raise?
Never gotten a $20,000 raise.
You're going to start giving it to yourself every year. That's why homeownership is the most powerful wealth builder in our country. So that's context for numbers. So when they see their monthly payments jump up, their cash to close jump up, they're like, okay, I'm giving myself a raise every year. Then you go next steps and you bam fam if you want. Any questions on this? Let me pull up the chats.
Just have people asking about acronyms.
Okay.
I think I got an answer.
Notice how I haven't gone through the rate at all. Does that mean the client doesn't ask about the rate? No, the client still asks about rate. But most clients ask about rate not because they want to shop, but because someone told them you should know the rate. And the way you do it is you just tell them that, hey, I use 5.25 for you. I guarantee you it's going to be different. I will show you the rate stack when you're under contract. You pick the rate that you want. But I use 5.25 to run my numbers. That's how you answer it. Don't make a big deal out of it. If you make a big deal out of it, it's a big deal. Then when you're under contract, you have the loan selection meeting, 30 minutes again, first. So this is all on video. Bring them home like on Zillow or Redfin, get excited with them, show them 3 loan options, make your recommendations and have them pick. So different down payments, different price points, or not price points, different down payments, different points. And then they pick and then you close them. Closing is you get the credit card information to order the appraisal. Once they pay, they're good. They're closed. And then you give them weekly updates.
I got a couple of questions. You just answered it there. So where a lot of people fall off is they do that initial consultation. I get somebody pre-approved and there's a long window between that and the home selection process. What's your follow-up cadence there? And then I think you mentioned, do you like to do those all on Zoom? Are you using Zoom a lot? Phone calls? What's your preferred method of communication there?
These two are video. Home buyer consultation and loan selection are video. First one is a phone call and weekly updates are phone call as well. And as far as cadence for when to go from home buyer consultation to loan selection, like what you should do in between, I used to do weekly calls and bi-weekly calls. I hated it. I genuinely did. So I switched to text. I still didn't like it. So I just changed it to saying, hey, between now and when you go under contract, we're not going to talk a lot. But that doesn't mean I can't serve you. Whenever you have questions, reach out to me. I will get your needs and questions met as soon as I can. Also, I'll be in touch with your realtor because we work with other clients as well. So I'll check it on you through your realtor. Does that sound good? Now, when you go under contract or when you're about to put an offer, involve me right away. That's when I have some things that if you and your realtor see fit, I can do to make sure your offer gets accepted. And then when you're under contract, you have to move fast. So as soon as you're about to put an offer, involve me. Just tell people what they should do and they'll do it. People want direction. We have an internal battle of what we have to do. Clients just want directions and they'll follow it.
Do you use any widgets and do you have any like tech stack stuff that you use or just inside your CRM, anything fancy?
I don't even use CRM. I've tried to use CRM. I just use Excel. Excel for everything.
Got it. And your pager, right?
And my fax
I'm
machine.
kidding. I'm making your fax machine. Okay. No, I like it. I think that there are just, for those of you, there are some tools that can help in between there to help you nurture a client along to stay in front of them. I like to think of just, I want to be inside of their ecosystem personally, once every week, once every other week. And it doesn't matter how you're there. That could be because they're in your Facebook and seeing you post. I just want them to see and hear my name periodically throughout that process. I think that aids in your conversion if we're talking about conversion, but Sam's got people crushing it using Excel and nothing else. So lots of ways to get there. Just make sure you have a plan to stay in front of people and so they know you.
Yeah. I will say this, guys. If you have a CRM, if you do weekly check-ins, it does work better. If you take phone apps like right away, it does work better. For me, it just wasn't worth the lifestyle sacrifice. That's all. The juice wasn't worth the squeeze. So it does work better. I won't pretend like my system works better. It's just I've created my system to have a great life and make a ton of money. That's all. Is this helpful to people? Are you guys enjoying this? Put a comment in the chat.
I think it's great. I think that it's often people they want to plan the same way your clients do. This is great.
So that's the lead conversion. By the way, because we don't have so much time, I'm not going into details of how to do each one with examples. I have a school community. I'll put the link in here as well. There's a free trial. It's $175 or $197 a year. I priced it because I don't want the content to be a barrier that way. It's like people charge thousands of dollars a month for it. I just charge $197 a year, and there's a free trial. You can go watch all the examples of how to do this with more detail as well. I'll put that. John, can you put in the chat?
Yeah, no, I'm doing it. I just got to get into your community from my community.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I will put that in the chat here. Just give me 1 second. So I think we covered, maybe not. You've got your like 10 loans per month playbook. So conversion's a big piece. What are some other things that I know you like to talk about? Focus, what you're working on. What are some other big things that people should just be thinking about if they're stuck at the 2-3 mark and they want to get to the next thing, right? Lead conversion's a big one. What's the next kind of lever that you can pull after that?
So if anyone's going to focus on anything, is lead conversion. If you're below 20%, if you're already at 20% and you're happy, keep it the same. You're good. Then the second thing is how to get referral partners. So I still love referral partners, and my top choice is still realtors. I think there's other good options like financial advisors, divorce attorneys. There's amazing options. I just like realtors the most. So I teach that the most. The reason for it is because with realtors, all you have to convince them is why they should work with you. With other referral sources is why they should do they even want to work with you? Like what's in it for them? Like a realtor needs you. A divorce attorney doesn't need you. A financial advisor doesn't need you. So you first have to sell them on working with a loan officer, then you have to sell them on working with you. So it's two different sales with other referral partners, whereas it's just one with the realtor. So I'll go over the process of how to win realtor partners. This same process works for all referral sources. So first understand the kind of partners we want to go after and what their value is. So I say go after people that have the capacity to, on average, send you 10 deals a year. Doesn't mean they are sending you 10 deals. They just have the capacity for it. It can be, again, divorce attorneys, financial advisors, realtors, doesn't matter. Always assume you can capture only 30% of their wallet. So 7 deals go to other people. You'll get 3. The best you'll ever do on average is 50%. So there'll be some people that send you 100%, but your average best is going to be 50. 30 is the goal. Have your commission per deal. Just know what the value of the relationship. I put 6,000 here. If you run the right margins at 200 to 300, most commissions should be around $8,000 to $12,000. Somewhere around that. So now you know the value. Then the next system is how do you get 2 meetings a week so you convert, and where you convert one of them 50% into a referral partner. And if you just do that for a year, you're adding $864,000 into your income every year. And then you can fine tune it because you might not want to work with 48 new people every year. So you just upgrade your list. It becomes easier. You'll have to do less of these meetings. But you have to go through 4 steps, just like with lead conversion. First, you have to have a way to connect. There's really 5 ways, and in order of most effective to least effective. Number 1 is introductions. Number 2 is on active deals. Number 3 is events. Number 4 is social media. Number 5 is cold outreach. So cold call, cold text, cold email. You guys want to see a party trick?
Show us.
All right. Think of your best friends. You can even think of a partner if you want, your partner, sibling, doesn't matter. When you have it, pull them up on your phone. It can also be a realtor, but don't try it with a realtor yet. And send them this text. Hey, exclamation point. From the top of your head, how many realtors do you personally know that you like and trust? John, will you put it in the chat?
Yeah. I want to show you guys something really cool too.
Here, I'll put it in here too. The top of your head. How many realtors do you personally know that you like and trust? Send that text to the person that you thought of, and by the end, I'm curious to see how many names you get. Because that's step one. That's to connect. Then step two is you want to meet these people with authority. There's two things I've met that work really well with meeting with authority. Number one is classes. This is a one-to-many approach. It works great for people that are smaller than 10 loans, usually like 5. They're doing 5 deals a year. Number two is podcast. This is if you're going after your whales. The podcast is what I use. This is the one my loan officers use. If anyone wants the connection of the person that sets it up for me, I'm happy to tell you. Just full disclosure, I do get a referral fee, but he sets up your podcast, he does the guest sourcing for you, he does the edits, and he does all the uploads. So he's amazing. He makes your life a lot easier. But you meet with authority where they come out thinking, my life is better if I work with this loan officer. Then you offer them something. Offer is basically, hey, here's what I'm going to do for you. In exchange, I want something in return. The return is that 3 deals a year. But the things that you can offer are classes, fast closings, guarantees, leads, and my favorite, the personal CRM. Because if you're really good at converting leads, you are so valuable to a realtor. You basically tell them, hey, I'm going to be your walking, talking, converting, updating CRM. You give me a lead, I'm going to give you closings. I don't care if it takes 2 weeks or 2 years. I'm going to follow up with them. Here's my numbers. Here are my statistics. This is how I go. And I'm going to get referrals and I'm going to give them back to you. I'm going to make you look like a rock star. Super valuable. Like nothing like it. And it's the easiest one, lowest barrier to entry. You don't have to pay for leads. You don't get yourself in trouble with anything. It's the best one. Just be the realtor's personal CRM. You offer it to them in exchange for your 3 deals a year. If they agree, which 1 in 2 agrees, you just have to do your follow-ups, which I recommend the account executive strategy, which has 2 parts. Part 1 is their money. Part 2 is personal relationship. You want to touch on the money first in a conversation. Then if there's time, go into the personal relationship. And if you guys just do this, you will hit this income. That's how you generate leads. Simple. So I just simplify my playbook every year. Now it's only 2 systems. That's it. You can make $1 million, not worrying about theme days, not worrying about all the past clients, which by the way, work. They're amazing. But just with these 2 systems, you can make $1 million a year. Working 25 to 35 hours a week.
Still, I know you post in LinkedIn all the time, which you probably have most of your agent partners also connected to you there. Are you doing a newsletter? Are you doing anything outside of that? Just you are very consistent in LinkedIn. Do you post other places? Do you on Instagram?
I have my
TikTok?
YouTube. Nope, no Instagram, no Facebook. If you go on Facebook and find me, I have embarrassing photos from college. I use Instagram to find what the Turkish doner kebab place has on their menu for the day. And my wife sends me funny memes on Instagram. So I'm on LinkedIn and I post my podcast on YouTube. That's it.
And we're kind of like, we're not getting close on time, but if anybody has questions for Sam, like by all means, right now would be the time to throw it in the chat. Anything like if you were getting started today, brand new, right? Let's say you had to go back in and restart your business. I think I already know your answer. what would be the first thing that you would do?
Do I already know how to sell and do I know guidelines?
I would say if you don't, they're all readily available today. I would say if you just like, you had to just start over, knowing what you know now today, and you got to rebuild, where would you start? Like, what would be the first thing that you would do? To find the right company to work for? I don't know what it is.
So I'll give some context around that because that's a really good question and I want to give a good answer to it. If I have my knowledge base right now, which I know how to do loans, I know how to get deals, I don't need a lot of resources, and I just want to make like 500,000 to $1 million a year, I would probably go broker. I would go to a flat fee, most likely, because I just don't want to deal with anything else. Then I would launch a podcast. I would have 2 guests every week. I would get really good at lead conversion. I am already good at it, but that's what I would do. And I would track it and I would use that as evidence for my offer to these realtors. And I would just do that all twice a week, 2 new people, 2 podcast episodes a week. Win one of them, convert the leads, and it's just gonna grow. It's a compounding growth. It's slow at the beginning, but then when you get busy, you're really busy. And then once I'm at 4 loans a month, I'm hiring my first assistant. And I would
And
hire an experienced assistant, not nobody new. I'm not training anyone. I want them to I would pay them well to take work off of me. I don't want to manage. I don't want to train. I just want to live a good life and make a ton of money. So that's what I would do.
And when you say hire an assistant, like an LOA, like a loan officer assistant, you, not somebody for your podcast and those kind of things, not like a marketing assistant, an LOA that can get in there, enter in the data, make sure that appraisals are ordered, they're herding the cats.
Exactly. A social processor, a processor that is good on the front end, that can set up the file, that can submit it, and that can process it. Because someone can do the front end and back end, both if there's only 10 loans a month.
And anybody have a question? Would anybody like to ask Sam something? And I probably agree with you, right? The flat fee model is a great place to start if you have a bunch of skill and you're looking at just moving forward. But you're taking on people, right? I know aren't doing this to recruit, but you're actively looking for people to come work underneath you at Cross Country, right?
Yeah, so for me, if a loan officer is doing 2 to 4 loans a month, we give them their own branch and P&L, and we take care of everything on the back end. So we get them to 10 loans a month in a year. If anyone wants that, thank you. Thank you, John, for saying that. You definitely don't need to come work with me. We're just one of the options. If you just like the stuff and you're curious, let me know. Sorry, I got distracted. Lewis has asked a question. How do you create or choose the information you share or teach in your podcast? So the information of the podcast is irrelevant. Nobody needs to watch it. In fact, it's better if nobody really watches. It doesn't matter. It's just as an excuse to meet the people you want to meet and deepen the relationship with them. It's just a tool to have authority, meet with authority. John, did I answer your question, by the way?
Yeah, no, I think you totally did, right? Everybody's going to start at a different place. There is no right and wrong answer. I often think that we spend a lot of time revving up our engines in this industry, right? It's just sometimes you just got to drop it down and put it in drive. And often loan officers are just floundering around out there. A couple of things that I would add to the podcast thing. I do we'll put this out. I'll put this on my YouTube channel. It will probably get 1,000 to 3,000 views is what like most of my stuff does. And Lewis, to your question it took me a long time to figure out how to do the podcast thing. The hardest thing really is not coming up with the ideas. It's easy to talk to somebody. You'll sound weird at first. It's how do I get them published out there? What do I do? And the value back to the agent. I have a little sign that sits on my desk and it says, you're not valuable because you say you are. You're valuable when they say, I don't want to work with anyone else. If you're the one that once a month, you bring them on your podcast and you now supply them with 5 to 7, like Sam's going to get 3 to 5 little takes after this that he can go and post someplace for himself. And then what's going to happen is my post is going to make it into Sam's world and we're going to get that connection there. So I'm going to gain authority. Like I'm going to use Sam's authority to his community because I did this with him, but I have to give him the clips. If I don't give them the clips, nothing's going to happen. So a lot of it's more the back end. And there are companies, and Sam said he's got one. I know people that do it. I've got VAs that can do it for you. There's a lot of ways that I know There's lots of services out there, but it's probably going to run you, if you're not going to do it yourself, I would say $200-300, probably an episode to get it all done. To probably, the sky's the limit from there. But I've got assistants that do that for people. Sam probably has somebody. There's lots of ways to do it, but make sure that you have an end game in mind. I want to provide 3 to 5 clips back to that agent that they can share with their social media and add value to them. It's something they can use, and that's more leads. So you have to be the lead generator for your agent. Otherwise, they're going to find somebody else, or they're going to beg you to pay for Zillow leads. And if all your agents do is come to you asking you for a check, it's because you're not adding any other value outside of your checkbook. So that's a litmus test. If the agents you work with only value you for your checkbook, like they're only, right, you're like for hire. I think there's a word for that. I don't know what it is, but you don't want to be one of those. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a little rant.
Yeah, no, that's a really good rant, and I really that you have it in front of you. Guys, I shared super high level the process. I'll put the link in the chat again. If you want to join my community, I break down everything you need to get to 10 loans a month, all the systems, the niche that you didn't even go to. And I do a weekly coaching in there as well, so you can jump on and ask your questions. If $197 is too much for people, just DM me. I'll give it to you for free. I don't make the money is irrelevant. I just want people to have some sort of skin in the game, and I don't want content and education to be a barrier for success. Losing my voice, John.
Yeah, no, I have a thing of water over here that I slugged down the whole time. Yeah, and again, if anybody has any questions, I'm going to drop a link in here. I don't know who's on here, whether or not you're in my community. So I have a place that I share, and I'll share just out of transparency. Everything that I do inside of mine has one goal, and one goal in mind is to help loan officers make more money. And my overall premise there is I'm 53. When I'm 60, I want to be the guy that gets to go to the NBA and have people pay to fly me around to just go and talk to people. So I'm actually building my community to be something that makes me money in 7 years. So I share 6 to 7 times a week, every single week inside of there, sales pointers, different things, completely free of charge, with the intent that at some point down the road, it will be something that I can monetize. And then we've got all kinds of other just stuff in there. But if you're not a member, please jump in there. If it does suck, you can always leave. I don't think that it does. I feel like I share some pretty decent stuff, but yeah, that's over there as well. Well, this has been really cool. We've got probably 5-6 minutes until I got to jump. Does anybody have any questions for Sam? If not, I will go to, you mentioned video, I think is really important today. Do you think there's anything that you have people doing on your team that are way outside of the norm of the rest of the world?
Yes, nobody does it.
What's
It's
that?
so effective. The podcast, nobody does it. Nobody does it. It's so effective. It's the craziest, most effective thing I've seen in the business to get in front of exactly who you want. Like so I have my own podcast. If you guys want to watch it, Lend and Lead. I have CEOs, $100 million producers. I launched it just because I wanted to talk to interesting people. And I haven't found anything as easy as that to get with literal CEOs. So the podcast is the easiest way to get in front of the people you want to meet. And nobody does it.
Here. Lend and Lead. Yeah, I think that the podcast is awesome. And if you can make it past 20 podcasts, you fall into the top 5% of all podcasts. Barrier to entry is still relatively low there. Yeah. And I know there's people that do things inside of here. I can see one guy I know does a monthly like lunch and learn type thing where he's bringing in appraisers and different things. You could take that and just turn that into a piece of content as well, and just turn that into a podcast and put it out there. Just anything that you can do to add value. I think that a lot of information, very little value being added in today's world.
Do you record them at the same time as well, and then turn them into YouTube clips or large clip?
Sorry, Tom, what was that?
Yeah, do you record it like this to create a YouTube video as well in addition to a podcast?
Yeah, I just record on Google Meets. I upload the video. The guy that I hired does all of this. he creates shorts for me and for the guests, sends it to both of us, and then he does the upload on YouTube and Spotify and Apple and all the other platforms. And sometimes it does well. Like my podcast gets like just on YouTube like 1,000 to 2,000 views. That was unexpected. I didn't think it would get there.
I mean, I can see it. We've shared some guests. It's difficult, but not, it's hard, but not difficult. So like none of the steps are super hard. Like you don't need an IQ of, you didn't need to score 1550 on your SAT to be able to figure it out, but it's hard just to execute on going through and actually doing it. But you can do one podcast you can take that one podcast, pull the transcript out. It can now become a blog. It can go on your website. It can become a half dozen shorts. It can become, you can take that one thing, and turn it into 15 pieces of content. Like just so everybody here, I will do this podcast. My VA is on here. He's going to record this, put it out there. We'll then pull out clips. We're going to post them for the next 5 months. There will be shorts posted out. We post them at night, right? There's a specific time we post them, but there's going to be posts now out through August. We're going to do this today, and it's going to serve me through July, August. I don't know what 5 months from today is. And so once you have the system in place, it becomes like a flywheel. Hard to get it moving at first. Once you do it, and it starts feeding off of itself. This has been great. We've got 4 minutes. I appreciate you doing this, Sam. Join this community. You want in the Mortgage Broker Builder? I put a link in here. We'll get the replay out to all of you. It'll show up in your inbox. And if you can do me one favor, if you are taking value of any of the stuff we do, my goal is to get as many people in my community. I'm giving it to them for free. Refer a friend or a family member, take the reply back. Did anybody get any replies back on their phone? I don't know if anybody did.
But yeah, thanks, John. I forgot about my own party trick.
Yeah, and I sent it to somebody that won't even look at their text during the day. And I want to give you guys all one other pro tip. If you do not, does anybody here use Whisper Flow?
How do you use it, John? Because I have it on my phone.
So Whisper Flow is the coolest thing that I have used. It is an app that sits on my phone, in my computer, everywhere. And all I do, I'll include a link. Let me see if I can, I'll include a link because if you sign up through me, I get a month free. But what happens, and it's $12 a month. So it's not like you're like sending me to retirement. What it is, I hold down my control and my Windows key and it just starts typing. And I'm going to just open up something over here. I'm just going to,
What about
share
from
it
your
for 1
phone?
second. What's that?
What about from your phone?
Works on your phone, sits on top of everything. I can comment on Instagram. It doesn't matter. Now I'm just going to go right here. And what I'm going to do, I'll actually open up the app for you. So
Sounds like I
this
can
is,
access it from a work computer personally.
I think you can access it from anywhere in the world. It sits on top of everything. So that's my notes for this show. I'll actually just go to the end of the notes. So I'm just going to go here and I've got Whisper Flow. And all I'm going to do, I'm going to hold down my control and right bracket. And I'm just going to start. And what's happening right now is Whisper Flow should be picking this up. And when I let go, it just turns it into sentences. So I no longer use a keyboard. I'm done using a keyboard. And even if you change stuff up, it listens to it and it doesn't just put the words, it turns it into a sentence. And inside of your CRM, you can leave notes. When you get off the phone with the client, you can leave notes. As you're on a Zoom call with the client and you're repeating something back to them, you just hold down those keys. It's picking up your mic and throwing it right into your CRM. It's probably one of the coolest things that I have ever used. It saves me more time than anything else out there. And I will include a link in here for Whisper. It is just, it's super cool. I think I paid for a year and I think it was $12 a month. And it's one of the coolest things that I have ever used.
Hey, John, sorry to interrupt. I gotta hop off. Guys, thank you so much.
Thanks for doing this, Sam.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Sam.
Everyone, there's the link for Whisper Flow. Anything I can do for anybody that's on this call, reach out. You can definitely get me inside of the community. I think Sam's got some great stuff. I'll get all the notes there. And if you want any bells, whistles, widgets to stay in front of clients, we got a whole bunch of different things that I really like. But again, success is a choice. You just have to execute. So that is it. I thank you all for being here. Have a fantastic day.